All right, guys, welcome back. It's me, Daniel, with VintageMagic.com, bringing you a Motivation Monday Essay Contest edition. We've had a total of 7 finalists, still going through the essays. This is the third one. I will put the link below of all the essay contests readings that I've done, kind of like a log, and then you guys can tell me what you guys think. Winner has not been selected yet, but we will hopefully soon. All right, so this one is by Matt, and he is from the Pennsylvania area. Not sure where exactly in Pennsylvania, but this is an essay about his experiences with Magic the Gathering and basically his passion and love for it. All right, so let's jump right into it. It would be fair to assume, a fair assumption to say that Magic the Gathering epitomizes that almost empirical reminiscence to nostalgia. Sorry guys, it's early. Empirical reminiscence to nostalgia that highlights those precious and exhilarating moments of childhood. No other tabletop game has garnered so many devoted and loyal customers in the history of mankind as Magic the Gathering has done in 25 years. And it would be also a fair assumption to say that Magic the Gathering has transcended just a game to become a momentous reverence embedded into American culture. It is indescribably special for this reason, and it is a privilege to ponder why vintage Magic the Gathering cards hit home for me. How these have shaped my character, helping me confront life's hardships, and what I would do if I was CEO of of Wizards of the Coast to safeguard the prestige of the game for the future players. All right, what an intro. Good job, Matt. First paragraph. There are precious few moments from my childhood that I can recall with such vivid clarity as when I first discovered Magic the Gathering. It was a blue sky summer day in 1994. I was 11 years old and I was on my weekly pilgrimage to my local game store, Brandywine Collectibles. Not even sure if they're still open, but you guys can check that. I earned a weekly allowance of $3 weekly, which I would collect every Saturday and ride my bike to Brandywine Collectibles. At this time, I was purchasing packs of Marvel cards from various sets to trade with my friends, but I always made sure to check the clearance bin in the store just in case if there were other alternatives. On this particular day, the store had shrink wrapped these white border cards into various stacks in the clearance bin. Hopefully Summer Magic Edition. What do you guys think? I remember being instantly drawn to these cards, awestruck by the artwork. The illustrations were avant-garde, and there were an intrepid quality to the cards that invoked a profound sense of veneration and wonder. Lots of big words. Man, okay, you guys got follow me still? Veneration and wonder. One set of these packs contained cards representing lands, and the other packs contained non-land cards. The land pack was $2, and the non-land pack was $3.50. I only had $3, and it was a tough choice to forgo a pack of the popular Marvel set, but I knew I just had to get these cards. I purchased a shrink-wrapped pack of lands and went home. Even though I had no idea what these lands did, I had this implicit feeling that they were special. A few weeks later, a friend of mine showed me his new hobby, which was playing Magic the Gathering. I instantly recognized the cards, and I told him, I have these cards except that mine were lands. I was quickly informed that the lands were needed to play the non-land cards, and my friend gave me a revised Sarah Angel and told me to get more cards to make a deck. Good friend. The following Saturday, I took my $1 and change from the previous week and my $3 allowance and bought the non-land Shrink Rack pack, which ended up having various common cards from a revised edition. I united my lands, my revised common cards and Sarah Angel card into my first deck, and I was extremely underwhelming and almost inoperable rainbow deck, but I was ecstatic just to be playing the game. From that point forward, I became somewhat of a blind zealot for Magic the Gathering, which is to say that I had no interest for any other game, cards, or comics. The school year following the summer, Magic the Gathering has spread throughout my school and circle of friends like a pox. The game had become an epic obsession amongst my peers and punctuated by an obsessive search to acquire the most powerful cards to enhance their decks. Days of playing Magic the Gathering melted into years which encompass innumerable fantastic memories of my friends gathering for epic victories, stinging defeats, and card trades, and lively metagame debates. Evaluating my life from this standpoint as an adult, I can fully appreciate all the benefits of Magic the Gathering has begot, of which a strong work ethic was the greatest. During my childhood, I was always envious of my friends and peers. My parents did not have very much money, and I was able to only buy one pack of Magic the Gathering cards per week. However, my friends and parents were able to buy them boxes at a time, which is to say I never had many powerful cards as they did. At the time, we considered the best cards to be Vesuvian Doppelganger, Shivan Dragon, Rock Hydra, Gia's Liege, Lord of the Pit, Demonic Hordes, Force of Nature, and Royal Assassin. Dual lands and Power 9 cards were around, but we were too naive to understand the true value and instead focus on our fascination on the high attack creatures to round out our deck strategies. Of these creature cards that captivated our attention, I had none, so I endeavored to take extra chores and neighborhood jobs so I can earn money to buy more cards. I would even scavenger the parking lot of local high school and grocery stores looking for change to bolster my coffers. The first big creature rare that I cracked was a revised Gia's Liege, and I promised myself that day I would have a job, earn a lot of money, and I would not just have one but many Gia's Lieges as a testament to my success. Wow, Gia's Liege. I followed through on this promise, and today I have a bachelorette and master's degree in business administration, a great job, a beautiful wife, we own our house, and I have thousands of revised Gia's Lieges in addition to the large collection of Magic cards. Oh, this is the guy with the Gia's Liege. I gotta have to call the guy back. Side note, this is not on the essay. I was talking to him on the phone, and it just dawned on me, he's the guy who has these thousands of unbelievable. I'm gonna have to call him later. Okay. Magic the Gathering also exposed me to the harsh reality of the world. My friends and I would go to the local game events, and we would be the youngest kids in attendance. Teenagers and adults would rip us off by trading us a rare creature for our dual lands and Power 9. We were taken advantage of because we were young and naive. When we realized we were scammed, which were years later, we were able to learn from that experience. We learned to better recognize and understand the value and avoid duplicitous things. Duplicitous. That's like duplicate, duplicit. Oh, you guys are going to kill me. But duplicitous dealings. Probably avoid like shady dealings. That's kind of what I was sending them. These lessons can be applied to the importance of due diligence for the acquisition of any financial asset and strategic decision making. The loss of these very valuable cards taught me to be vigilant and think critically about my own financial portfolio. Very little was given to me, and most everything was earned. I credit Magic the Gathering for instilling in me a strong work ethic and worldly knowledge. The most difficult time in my life occurred when I was a teenager at about the age of 16. And Magic the Gathering became more than just a game to me. Hey, no, me. I have suffered more than a game to me. I have always been peculiar and slightly eccentric for those who know me well. I suffered from OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, since I was a child. I never knew I had OCD until I was a teenager. I just thought everyone had the same thoughts I had, obsessions, and performed the rituals that I had, compulsions. Having OCD is like having thoughts that replay in your head like a broken record. The thoughts are extremely uncomfortable, humiliating, and produce much anxiety. My anxious tension are relieved by completing the compulsive rituals such as washing my hands, counting, repeating movements, and checking. The reprieve is only fleeting before the entire process begins anew. As you age with OCD, the thoughts change, so the thoughts would scare and humiliate at one age often morph into something new at another age. The chaotic state of mind coupled with devastating anxiety, depression caused by OCD made my those years extremely tough. I'm assuming those teenager years. I became withdrawn, uncommunicative, and no longer enjoyed most things I once did, except for playing Magic the Gathering. The game and its culture became my island sanctuary. Literally, island sanctuary, like the card. I had a group of friends, a community whom I played Magic the Gathering, and even though I kept my OCD suffering secret, just the presence of my friends and the fun of the game was able to keep it out of my head for a few hours. Those were very small moments. Those were small moments of respite, and they made all the difference. The game was a joy when desolation threatened to overwhelm me, and I don't know how things might have turned out if Magic the Gathering and its community was not around to help me through it. Because Magic the Gathering has been an intrinsic part of my life and lives of those close to me, I would truly consider it a sacred duty to shepherd the game forward and ensure that the future players have an opportunity to immerse themselves in the culture that Wizards of the Coast created in early years. If I were the CEO of Wizards of the Coast, there would be several decisions that I would make which would fork the strategic path that is currently embarked upon. To properly manage Wizards of the Coast, ensuring both profitability and longevity, it is important to realize that the heart of a game is in the name itself, the gathering of people. The face-to-face group sociability is the bedrock of the Magic the Gathering culture. People are Wizards of the Coast's greatest resource because these people are not only customers, but they are devout patrons and purveyors of the secondary market. And it is the secondary market that allows Magic the Gathering to thrive and attract new players. This is why the local game store is the most important node in the supply chains of the company. The local game store is like a shapeshifter because it incorporates so many different roles. A customer of a company, a retail outlet for a product, a place for gathering for players, and a haven for community interaction and outreach. Friday Night Magic needs to be upheld as a sacrosanct, like a mecca basically. And every decision that I would make would be based around these communities as dedicated players. So basically, what he's saying is the LGS store is the foremost important thing, and it also FNM is like the genesis of all of the relationship. Okay. Next paragraph. To better serve the community of players, I would reestablish the direct sales program that oversaw the direct and discounted sale of specified amount of product to local game stores. This was not only convenient for local game stores to bypass the premiums added by wholesale distributors, but it was a remunerative to the stores, which only make a slight margin on the product. Local game stores have frequently expressed that being in the business of retail gaming products is not especially lucrative, but the passion for the gaming makes the business worthwhile. The loss of the direct sales program will force local game stores to purchase product from wholesalers and reduce their already slim margins. This is counterintuitive business strategy because the local game store is the foundation of Magic, foundation that Magic Gathering is built upon. It's where people go to discuss the game, teach others, buy product and socialize. In action that negatively affects local game stores, jeopardize the local player communities, so it's paramount to ensure the local game stores are not price gouged. In alignment to the social aspect of the game and ensuring that the culture of the game is not degraded by superfluous, superfluous, meaning like superfluous medium. That's what he's saying. I would abandon any attempts to offer applications that mimic Hearthstone. I guess what he's trying to say is he doesn't want the game to be like this digital video game like Hearthstone. MTG Magic the Gathering Arena has diverged from the culture of Magic the Gathering and Magic the Gathering Online to become a banal and overly cartoonish experience. I would instead focus on the majority of capital to raising the quality of the cardstock and artwork. The cardstock quality has declined, and the juxtaposition of older cards to newer cards is striking. Vintage cards are the solid stock from the perfect amount of saturation and texture, so much so that the experienced players can identify a vintage card by the touch alone. The newer card stock is flimsy and feels cheap. The cards curl due to our environmental conditions like temperature and humidity, and the art is passé, P-A-S-S, and there's an E with apostrophe. Passé. I don't even know that what the word is. Probably bland, maybe. With too much emphasis on computer-generated graphics rather than organic, hand-drawn art. These newer cards will not stand the test of time like the vintage counterparts, which will affect not only the customer's willingness to buy, but to erode the integrity of the secondary market. I would focus capital to obtain a card stock on par with the Corona card stock to the vintage editions and more creative license given to the artists. I would also print deluxe set where the customers have a chance to get matte finished cards, mirage finished cards, sketch cards, uncut sheet, redemption token cards, because these should be showcased for the works of art they are. That sounds like my idea. Token cards, insert cards. Interesting. Many cards are laminated. Many players are laminating the card quality and abandoning the newer sets entirely, which impacts the attracting new players to the game. If Wizards of the Coast fails to attract and keep new players, then the interest in the game will dwindle over time. Magic the Gathering Magic Gathering players want high quality product and they're willing to pay more to get it. The secondary market is the life force of Magic the Gathering. That's like a very Zelda term. Interesting. A collectible card game can't succeed and remain relevant for the significant period of time if the secondary market is not thriving. The secondary market is what captivates players initially and eventually turns them into collectors and investors. It would be absolutely paramount to ensure that the secondary market remains stable and expanding, which is why, as a CEO, I would extremely limit the number of reprint of vintage cards and further expand the reserve list slowly over time. Well, this is similar to Royal's opinion. Product quality and scarcity are the two simple ingredients to a thriving secondary market. I have numerous ideas for the new rules, card structures, and abilities that could broach unclaimed, I don't know if it's broach or breach, but broach unclaimed territory with new cards without the need to cannibalize older cards. This expeditious strategy is what allowed Magic the Gathering to garner such adoration from the game's inception. And any decision that would foster conformity would ultimately result into the diminishment of the secondary market, turning an omni in the present game into esoteric affair. I want players, collectors, and investors to have faith that the reserve list will expand, and that the cards in the reserve list will never be reprinted, and the game will continue to evolve in a dynamic way. Here's the closing. I could not fittingly tell you my story or describe who I am without telling you about the game, which has so influenced my life, and it would be fair conclusion to say that there are millions of more players just like me. It is apparent that Magic the Gathering is more than just a game. It is a lifestyle, a culture, a lifeline, a diversion, a hobby, a memory, an emotion, all embodied in these older vintage cards. They are intangible representations of American culture and nostalgia, priceless in sentimentality, and valued high by many worldwide. It is the game that is immeasurable in benefits and influences and inspire me to become the most successful version of myself. Wow. I'm gonna pan over here so you can see the essay. I mean, this essay is really, really long. I mean, and I apologize, guys. I was not the best reader at this stuff, but, you know, I'm trying to do the best what I can with what I have. Focus, possibly. There you go. Gotta say, though, I mean, what do you guys think? This is actually, I wouldn't call this exact. This is like one of those essays that had a combination of old school Magic like experiences, but also life experiences, but also transition into the world of just kind of his the CEO of Magic. Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, I gotta say, Matt, I mean, out of all the essays that I've read or in general, this one is by far the best written essay in terms of just, I mean, there's so many big words, so many really well written. It's almost, the vocabulary is so good. I almost feel like I'm going to call you back up here and ask you, are you an English professor? I mean, what's going on here? Novelist? Just really well written overall. This is the last page right here. All right, so... All right, guys. Well, thanks again for this Motivational Monday. I know it was very long, but I guess here's my thoughts. The takeaway for me on this essay is that Matt K, he really has this passion for Magic. It's inspired him. It's changed him. He obviously goes through depression and OCD. It's a very common thing, actually. Depression is very common in individuals, and it's not something to be ashamed about. It's something to talk about. You always want to talk about your feelings. Don't be ashamed if you're depressed. Being isolated, drinking, doing drugs, that's what gets you more in trouble. It's better to talk to someone, get a therapist, talk to your friends, family. Don't be afraid to share your feelings. I think Matt's obviously shown a lot of success through his career, has a house, has a wife and family. I think that's awesome. His points about being CEO of Magic are very interesting. I've heard of most of that stuff before, but I think what I'm noticing is that he's really going back to the old school roots of what Wizards was. The idea of secondary market was important. The idea that the players and the FNMs and the stores and the ways to give the LGS stores more profits, right? I think this type of idea, this mentality is a good start. Unfortunately, obviously from what you guys see, Magic putting the $10 million into Magic Arena just proves how much they just don't care about local game stores and growing them. I'm not saying that they don't care. I'm saying that they're not really pumping more programs or money that will change that. I think Matt's heart is there, but I would say that unfortunately Wizards is not going to go that direction. It's just the way it is. I mean, the world we live in, the older days of Magic, and I'm telling you, Matt, I totally agree. I would ride my bike to the Evergreen Comic Stamp and Coin or whatever, and they're not even in business anymore. I think there's like a Thai restaurant there now. And I would go there, do the same thing. I would buy Marvel comic cards. I'd buy some cards. But that idea is not going to happen anymore. It's sad. It's a sad reality. And until we understand that that is what it is, and embrace whatever it is, that's all we can do. But it's good to do this because I think what you've shared is what is the heart of what Magic was, and it's important to keep that alive. If you don't share that with your family, your kids, your friends, just play some Magic, relive the days. The stories will kind of fade away, and it'll just be like on our iPad, just kind of the next patch comes along or the next version of a video game. The stories are what make it so special. All right, Matt, thanks again. Guys, I hope you guys enjoyed Motivation Monday. I appreciate you guys. You guys have a great week, and we'll talk soon. Lots of great videos coming up this week.